Leela was born in Georgia. She had never seen her father. When she was 12, her mother passed away. She tied a blue ribbon around Leela's wrist and whispered that she must never stop looking at the stars. Her mother said there was one star that would always lead to freedom. Every night after the field work was done and the others were asleep, she sat by the small window of her cabin and looked for that bright North Star. It was her secret friend and her silent promise. One evening after the sun sank behind the hills, Leela heard whispers near the old barn. She listened. Two men and a woman were talking softly about a woman named Harriet who was coming soon to lead people north. Leela's heart began to race. She had heard stories about Harriet Tubman, the woman who could follow the stars and never get lost. That night Leela could not sleep. She thought about the stories her mother had told her about a land where nobody could be sold or beaten. She imagined walking there, barefoot, her hands touching cool grass that did not belong to anyone. She wanted that more than anything in the world. When Harriet finally came, it was a moonless night. Leela was picking cotton late when she heard a quiet knock on the cabin door. A small, strong woman stood outside holding a lantern. Her voice was calm and steady when she said, "We are leaving tonight. Can you walk?" Leela nodded. She packed her small cloth bag with a piece of bread and her mother's ribbon. She whispered a prayer and followed Harriet into the darkness. The journey began through thick forests. It reminded her why she was walking. Sometimes they hid in barns and sometimes in swamps where mosquitoes swarmed around them. They moved only at night and slept during the day. Harriet always walked in front her. She never looked afraid. When others grew tired, she would whisper songs about freedom and heaven that gave them strength to keep going. Harriet turned and said, "Lord has brought us this far. He will carry us through." Leela stepped into the water holding her breath. The moonlight broke through the clouds just enough to show her the other side. Cried not from fear but from the wild joy of being alive. When she reached it, she fell to her knees and they crossed forests, rivers and mountains. Leela learned to move like a shadow and think like the wind. Leela stood still. It was lighter than any air she had known before. She felt the wind brush her face and smelled the sweetness of the air. She touched the ground with her hands and whispered, "Mama, I made it." Every night she looked for the North Star and thanked it for guiding her home. Leela began to teach children who had never known the chains she once wore. She taught stories about courage. At night when the wind was gentle, she stepped outside the schoolhouse and looked at the sky. The North Star still shone bright and steady. She smiled and whispered, "Mama, we are free." And though many years had gone by, the star seemed to shine just a little brighter for her.